Hey Aries, welcome to Intuitive Gems. My name is Desiree, and I will be doing your money, wealth, finance, prosperity, abundance reading for the month of May 2021. Hope you're having a good month so far. I'm feeling really excited to get into your reading, Aries. So I will be using my white tarot deck. I will clarify with my Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot, and then I will close out your reading, Aries, with a Secret Language of Color Oracle card. If this is your first time catching one of my videos, I do want to say welcome. And I invite you to subscribe because I do these readings each and every month, and I would love to share your money message with you. So let's go ahead and get right into it for the lovely Aries. What do we need to know for the sign of Aries as it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of May 2021. Okay, so I don't know if you guys are picking up on this too, but I'm feeling really like things are moving quickly. Things are happening. Things are coming together in a very holistic, but also a very strong way is what I'm picking up here. Let me fix the cards so they're not cut off. So as you can see, you've got a lot of growth, you've got a lot of stability and foundation. I guess I could say foundational strength here. So let's go ahead and start with the Seven of Pentacles. That's in the reverse. Now, even though this card is telling me that the workflow is going to be slowing down just a bit as we move into this new month for you, Aries, it doesn't mean that your money flow is going to actually be stopping, okay? You're probably getting to that tipping point where less is more, or you're utilizing leverage. In other words, you're getting to the point where you can scale your efforts. Maybe this is passive income for some of you. Maybe this is hiring people to kind of do the work that you don't enjoy, or the work that you find tedious, and maybe now that allows you to be more focused on the things that really generate income for you. The other thing I'm seeing here is that for some of you, you're going to be moving into work, a job, a career, where maybe you're getting paid more for doing the same amount or less work. Maybe you just don't have to expend as much energy in order to bring in the same results. Okay, but whatever the case may be, this is definitely good. Here's where we get into foundation and stability. This is also the marriage card. Now, in relationships, this card does signify literal marriage. But since we're talking about work, money, career, and all those things, this could be a marriage of, I don't know, business ideas, partnerships. Could be collaborations. It could be the coming together of people working for a common goal. I'm also feeling too that this is laying the groundwork for some of you. Some of you are trying to start businesses, and maybe a few of you are, really becoming, self-employed, maybe independent contractors, and you're getting the things in place so you have a really good, solid foundation before you move forward into that next step. Next, we have the Ace of Wands in the reverse. Now, this is good. This means growth is happening. However, something's probably going to need to be tweaked a little bit before it's fully launched. Ace of Wands means brand new growth, execution to some degree. The other thing about the Ace of Wands is that it's a card that really talks about planting the seed, but yet also kind of nurturing the seed, nurturing the ideas, really paying attention to the efforts that you're putting forth in order to make something happen, okay? Now, this is very good because it means that things are happening. However, there's still a little bit more adjustments that need to be worked on before things can really come together, fully. Okay, next we have the Temperance card. Now, Temperance is always a beautiful card because it signifies the angels. But the other thing about Temperance is that it talks about balance and things really just kind of ebbing and flowing, yinning and yanging, and things just really kind of move in a very cyclic way. But at the same time, it's like things are feeling very, very fluid. There's going to be some days where it's more about relationships, some days where it's more about work, but you tend to kind of figure it out in a very simple way that works for you, Aries. The other thing about Temperance is that this card talks about having realistic expectations as well, meaning you know that there's going to be some temporary sacrifices that have to be made in order to be successful. You also understand that sometimes you're going to have to say no to some things in order to say yes to other things, and vice versa. But you don't feel like you're missing out on anything, and I think that's a very powerful place to be. So you have a very good mindset, a really good outlook and perspective on what it takes to really be successful, and what it takes to create the wealth that you desire, and what it takes to really be abundant right now at this point in your life. Next, we have the Page of Wands in the reverse. This means there's going to be some news or information coming forth as it relates to your work. Now, even if you don't have a job, this still applies if you're a student, retired, business owner, investor, whatever the case may be. Whatever you do in order to bring money in, there's going to be some news. And the thing is it's going to be unexpected because this is in the reverse. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but it is going to be a surprise. You're going to be like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. And it could be something that creates an opportunity that's kind of hidden. Or it could just be, some information that's going to cause you to have to pivot in some way. Okay, but from what I'm seeing here, Aries, it looks like you're going to be able to adjust to it quite well, and I wouldn't worry about it. But it's just one of those things where you're just like, oh, okay, we were doing this, now we have to do this. Finally, we have the Empress card. Now, this is a card of feminine energy, but it's also a card of growth, maturity. For those of you who are investing, a lot of times I do see this card when we talk about maturity of certain investments. It also talks about nurturing and paying attention and really tending to your finances in a way that allows you to keep your finger on the pulse. Nothing is going to kind of fall by the wayside because you're constantly tending to it. The other thing about the Empress, it talks about the seed has been planted, and now we just have to patiently wait for the growth to take place, because the growth is inevitable. However, you cannot rush it. And that's pretty much the thing about, when we look at the Empress card, she's a card of birth. Sometimes creativity comes through during, certain times of, well, I guess I should say when we're trying to create something that will continue to grow for many, many years. And it's one of those things where we just kind of have to allow nature to take its course. We can't rush it, and at the same time, we cannot slow it down. So Aries, your first week in May is going to be really, really good. And it looks like too, it just looks like things are flowing together quite harmoniously. All right, so what else do we need to know for the sign of Aries as it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of May 2021? All right, Aries, as we continue on and we move through the month of May, you are going to be making a lot of decisions. Once we hit the second week of May, you're going to be having a lot of second thoughts. It looks like some decisions that you've made in the recent past, it's like you're revisiting those ideas. You're revisiting those decisions, and you're wondering and you're second guessing, did I do the right thing? Did I move in the right direction? Did I change things in the way that I believe they need to be changed? The Eight of Cups here, this is, like I said, second guessing a decision. Not having regrets, but just kind of seeing, the question from a different perspective and really figuring out like, oh, okay, well, this is the goal. This is what I decided, but maybe I can make an adjustment in a different way. maybe I can still achieve the same results in a, using a different formula. Okay, especially as it relates to your financial goals and your work and career goals, as well as your investment goals. Sometimes you can achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. You just have to be a little bit more creative, in the problem solving process. Next, we have the Four of Cups here. It means that there's going to be some opportunities showing up for you. Not all of them are going to be exciting, but there is going to be some hidden gems in there. So really take the time to thoroughly dissect every opportunity that comes your way, especially once we hit that second week of May. Now, this is not only, in our work life or our professional life, but also in our personal life, because sometimes it's a personal connection that really kind of unlocks something that can allow us to blossom professionally or financially. I'm not saying, to use anyone, but at the same time, see how you can have a mutually beneficial connection with someone, okay? Next, we have the Five of Wands. This is the communication card. Sometimes we have to be very, very careful with how we communicate with other people. People sometimes have selective hearing. I know we've all had to deal with that in one way, shape, or form at some point in our lives. So if you are in a work situation or a professional situation and you have to really, either negotiate or have a conversation with people, make sure there's a lot of clarity in that communication, okay? Make sure either we're writing things down, we're recording what's being said, whatever the case may be, because that way nobody is saying, well, you said, she said, that's not what I heard, that's not what I meant. You want to avoid all that, okay? Next, we have the Hermit card. The Hermit card in the reverse talks about being very proactive, sometimes to the point of being extremely uncomfortable, but everybody has to do that in order to achieve something, right? We have to step out of our comfort zone. The Hermit tells us that taking action, it's not going to be fun, it's not going to always work out, but at the same time, it's something that has to be done. We can't go within. Sometimes we have to go show up. Sometimes we have to put ourselves out there. And it may not be fun, and we may not even do it in the right way, but the big thing is that in order to create the life we want, it's something we have to do, especially as it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance. Finally, we have the Five of Cups. This is a good card to see in the reverse because it means no regrets. Now, I talked about here, you're second guessing some decisions you've made in the past, but here, probably by the time we close out that second week of May, you are going to feel like you did the right thing and you have no hesitation, you have no confusion about the direction that you're going. Now, again, this is a very powerful place to be because it just really allows you to make decisions and to kind of just keep moving forward. You're not wasting time, you're not wasting energy, and you're really doing the right thing for you right now. All right, Aries. Let's continue on. Oh, nice. See what else shows up for you. As it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance. For the month of May 2021. All right, Aries. Okay. Had to make sure I was still recording. Let's see, as we move into the second half of the month of May, you've got good news coming as it relates to money. I'm feeling excited already just looking at this card. The Page of Pentacles, you've got some message, information, announcement, something related to money, and it's very, very good news, okay? This could cover a myriad of things for so many of you, but I just want you to know that once we hit the second half of May, good news in relation to your finances is definitely on the way. Next up, we have the Justice card in the reverse. This is a decision being made that affects you, however, you have no say in the decision. Sometimes it's good, sometimes not so good, sometimes it's neutral. The Justice card just means that, the decision is going to be made in a fair and balanced way. However, you have no input. You have no say. You have no influence. Sometimes this shows up when there's decisions being made at work. The managers make a decision that affect everybody. Sometimes it's, for the better. Sometimes it's for the worse. It's not anything that you really can control, so consider this more like a heads up. The other thing is that you're going to be okay, So I don't want you to stress about it, and I don't want you to feel like you're caught off guard or unprepared. But at the same time, you do the best you can with, with the options that you do have. Okay, next we have the Three of Cups in the reverse. That's going to be, I'm feeling like there's an event that's going to be canceled for some of you. The Three of Cups is a celebration card. When it shows up in the reverse, that is means the celebration has been put on hold. Usually this is like an event. But for some reason, there's going to probably be a delay or a postponement or even a cancellation of an upcoming event for some of you. Now, the other thing is that it could mean that you may have thought something was ready to go, and so you were ready to kind of bust out the champagne. Well, maybe not quite yet. Doesn't mean that you're never going to get to that point. It just means that, we have to, figure out some things before we can really, start celebrating. Now, next is the Seven of Swords in the reverse. I'm getting some mixed messages with this card, because I'm feeling like this is a situation that you guys thought was dead and buried, but however, it's showing up again. However, it's not going to be as intense as it was the first time it came around, but I'm feeling like there was somebody who was doing something very dishonestly, or somebody was even stealing from you, or somebody was lying to you, and you found out, and there's a money connection to this. Maybe somebody was stealing money, maybe somebody was stealing your inventory, your supplies, your tools, something to that effect. And you obviously became aware of this situation. You either cut the person off, or you had a conversation, or they paid you back, whatever the case was. But for some reason, I'm seeing that this situation is showing up again. Maybe you thought, okay, so-and-so stole some money, he paid me back, we're good. But I'm really picking up that this is something that was already, like I said, something that you thought you had dealt with, Aries, and now it's resurfacing. Again, like I said, it's not going to be as intense as it was the first time around, but remember, a leopard doesn't change his spots, right? People change, right? I'm not saying they don't, but at the same time, I feel like somebody is up to their old tricks again, okay? And you'll be aware of it once we hit the second half of May. It'll come to your attention, so don't think you're going to be blindsided. But like I said, there's definitely a money connection to it. That's why it's showing up, and that's why I'm feeling the need to kind of communicate that with you, Aries, because I feel like this is going to affect your money in some way. Either someone literally will disrupt your money flow, or maybe they will kind of interfere with your ability to make money. Maybe they'll steal clients, customers, maybe they'll take your equipment or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, that's that. Next up, we have the Knight of Swords in the reverse. That means a very slow moving energy. It means things don't happen very quickly. And it's interesting because it fell on the Hermit card, which is, the card of showing up, being uncomfortable when you show up. And you probably won't get any feedback from that right away. It's probably going to be a very slow process that you're going to just have to learn and stumble your way through, okay? Now, when we're trying to grow a business, or when we're trying to advance in our careers, sometimes it's going to be a long process, and it's going to be an uncomfortable process, okay? But you can do it, and you will do it, Aries. Finally, we have the Two of Wands. This is kind of reworking some plans for the future. However, the past is influencing some of our future planning. And I know, so many of us try not to live in the past, and we try not to use the past to identify what's happening now or what could happen in the future. But there's no denying that the past will have some type of an impact on what we're currently doing and what we plan to do, okay? So I think this is just about being aware of that. It's about understanding that just because you failed at making money in the past doesn't mean you're going to fail in the future. Now, you may have to do some things differently because you don't want to repeat those same things that caused you to fail, or that caused you to lose money, or that caused you to not be successful in your chosen work. But at the same time, remember the past is independent of what we're doing today. All right, Aries, let's see what else is showing up for you. As it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of May 2021. All right, well, I can say that the good news is continuing once we close out the month of May. You already have some good money news here coming. By the time we get to the last week in May, you're really going to be celebrating, happy, very fulfilled about something financial as it relates to whatever it is you're trying to do in your business, in your work, in your professional life, whatever. You are definitely going to be happy and satisfied with what is coming. Now, this is very, very exciting because it looks like as we close out the month, you're going to be really in a good place. I mean, money-wise, I don't see anything, taking you down a notch. I see everything as growth and advancing. We do have a repeater card here. We have the Five of Wands. Remember, we saw him here. Again, communication is going to be of the utmost importance throughout this month, especially anything having related or having to do with financials, having to do with money, having to do with business. Okay, again, make sure you are getting everything in writing. If you're negotiating, make sure you're keeping track of what was said, who said what, dates, timelines, specifics, whatever the case may be. The communication has to be strong during this time, because literally the flow and the energy of your money is going to depend on the documentation of what was being said, what was being communicated, what was being discussed, with whoever is involved, whatever. Now, this not only applies to our professional work, but if we're working with contractors, doing work in our homes, or I don't know. I've been having conversations with my son is going to a new school, so I've had to do a lot of phone calls and this, that, and the other. Any type of interaction that has to be documented, make sure you do that. Okay, I'm getting that very strongly for you, Aries. So I just want to stress that and make that very, very clear. Next, we have the Queen of Swords. Now, the Queen of Swords, sometimes I like her because she's a no-nonsense energy card, right? She cuts things off without any hesitation, but at the same time, she's not nasty about it. Sometimes she could be a little insensitive, but that's nothing personal. It's that she is removing things that no longer serve her. And I have a feeling that's the energy you're going to be at once we close out the month, Aries, because you're in such a good place money-wise that you have no hesitation saying no to something. Maybe in the past you had to take on the headache clients or customers because, you needed that business. But I have a feeling that you're probably going to be releasing or letting go some of these, pain in the butt customers because, not that you don't care, but you're in a position now where you don't have to cater to people unnecessarily, right? So if you are feeling intuitively like it's time to cut someone or something off, please make sure you follow through with that, because it will be the best course of action once we close out the month. We also have another repeater, the Eight of Cups, again, and they're both in the reverse. Like I said, this is kind of mirroring what I'm seeing here. In other words, walking away from something. You may have some second thoughts, you may have some doubts, you may even feel nervous in the process of doing it, but when all is said and done, it's time, right? It's time for you to move on. It's time for you to let go. Finally, we have the High Priestess here in the reverse. I don't like seeing her in the reverse because it means that you're not trusting your intuitive abilities or your intuitive gifts. You're not trusting your gut instinct. You know, everybody goes through that. I'm not saying that this is unique to you, Aries. However, sometimes when we don't listen to ourselves or trust ourselves, things may not necessarily work out how we would like them to or how we thought they would. All right, so again, I'm feeling like this is just kind of giving you a heads up to really, Aries, take the time to listen to your gut. Pay attention to how you feel, you know, in all situations, but especially situations as it relates to your money. All right, Aries, like I said, you've got a pretty good month. I don't think you have really anything to worry about. Like I said, we stressed on the communication. I think I've clarified that, and you know, really tapping into your own intuition and really feeling, you know, feeling like you know what to do, right? You know, you may not have all the answers, but you know what is best as far as your next step. All right, Aries, I'm going to go ahead and close out your reading. I'm feeling 2 cards for you. All right, these are the Secret Language of Color Oracle cards. And I've got 2 cards for you here. We have Indigo, Improve Your Vision, card number 40. And then we have Sapphire, Regenerate Your Body, card number 38. 2 very beautiful cards. Now, the Indigo card that says Improve Your Vision, yes, we can take that literally in the sense of improving your eyesight. But I'm interpreting this to mean improve your vision, in other words, your magical vision. You know, what is it that you are visualizing within, you know, in your mind with your third eye? Regenerate your body. Pay attention to how you feel physically, right? Also get rest, replenish as needed, and make sure you nourish your body with what is best for you. You know, I'm not going to tell anybody they have to eat a specific way, but we all know what's good for us, and make sure you make those, you know, nourishing choices to support yourself physically. All right, Aries, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, observations, please drop them down below. I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. We'll do it all again next month.